Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name's Preston. I'm here with Sam. Say hello.
Hello, we're back with green this time.
Yeah, we are talking about color review for set six. We're off to green, and I'm sure this is going to be a super exciting one for all of you out there. So,
Oof.
uh, let's jump into the leader. His effect basically allows all of his new fishermen pirates to use their abilities at the cost of keeping him rested most of the game.
Right.
Um, it's a necessity to do that for this because every single new fishman, I believe, effect is to take a life. So you need to be running your leader basically full rested until the end game, which kind of feels bad.
In a way, it's similar to our no attack leaders, right? We
Right.
every time we talk about those leaders, where we feel a little uneasy because this is just a lost mechanic, and it's very effective for getting rid of those tradable characters. So not having that tool is definitely unfortunate. And with all of these fishmans having this effect, kind of makes it playing like Arlong very, very hard or impossible with all this stuff, which is probably the most unfortunate. It's just the most unfortunate part about this set, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. The effects are good. So as long as you're
Yeah.
keeping your leader rested, you get to do some cool stuff. Their big boss character is a 7-drop 8K with Rush, which is nothing to be like sad about. That's a really good thing to have on your side of the board. Um, and then it also does stuff with resting your opponent's Dawn. So if they're leaving Dawn open, you can stop them from countering late game, which is great. Unfortunately, it's just on play. I wish it was, since it's only a 7 cost and the rest of like the set is kind of weak for green. I would have liked to seen maybe like anything else to get that effect a little bit more often. But it can target characters as well, so I guess there's ups and downs with it, but it has haste and it's, I mean, at least decent and playable, I think, for this archetype specifically.
Yeah, I think Hordy will be at least a fun deck to play. It's going to be very contained to just Hordy. Of course, that's what we're getting at. Not a lot of universality. There's a couple cards. We'll touch on them for sure. I think there is potential. I think it's definitely the less exciting of the options to play because you are forced to play very specifically. Um, but I do think there's going to be room to definitely win some games. I think at least. So I definitely don't think it's in a bad as worse place as someone like Iceberg hypothetically.
Yeah, and eventually those leaders get played, but at much lower numbers and not in the highest level of competitive. Like if I'm thinking,
No.
how does this put up against a Sakazuki or a Katakuri
Yeah.
or a Nell? I mean, a Nell's going crazy in the East, or has in the past done
Mm-hmm.
good things, and I don't know how this beats that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, there's throwaway sets sometimes. There are some good characters in this set
There's
for
definitely
other stuff.
absolutely like we could definitely talk about this Ryuma. This Ryuma is excellent. It has so much value. It also has very notable. We'll definitely talk about it later. It has Thriller Bark Pirates and Wano Country. Very definitely we're going to be talking about it in two decks.
Yeah.
When introduced, when KO'd, it's going to take something with it when it's four or less rested. That's good utility coming out of this wonderful rare card, and his art is excellent.
Yeah.
Beautiful card.
And I
Uh,
think sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say Room is great and it will get played in two decks. And honestly, it could possibly be played because it has no requirement, right? It doesn't
Nope.
say that it has to be an X type of deck.
Mm-mm.
So it could be played in many green decks. It's a great universal card that allows you to do crazy stuff.
Mm-mm.
I think the Arlong also has a chance to bring
Sure.
back our green yellow Arlong leader.
Ooh.
There's some decent triggers around now in both colors,
Mm-hmm.
so you can now look at Arlong as a leader and drop this new Arlong in there, um, which I think it keeps an opponent's card rested for a turn, can attack, um, which is great. I mean, it's a really good effect with a with a trigger, and Arlong was kind of missing out on a lot when it first came out. And I think it has enough to be playable. We'll have to see if it's viable. Again, the top tier decks are disgusting right now. So we'll have to see how anything does against it. But I don't know about most of this green stuff. I don't think it's high tiered at least.
I think it's a very top heavy format for sure. It's definitely the top decks are the top decks for a reason. They have all of the correct tools right now, and then the utility to adapt to other things that are approaching. And this deck doesn't have that. It's very boxed in, even for Arlong in most cases, because there's definitely a better leader for most other green yellow options.
Right.
That's the kind of the unfortunate spot because all these other fishmen you have to really play with Hordy. But the other card that we definitely have to talk about, one of the secret rares this format is green, and it is this wonderful looking Zoro. The Zoro's effect is essentially he can attack 3 times. The first time it costs 1 extra Don, and the second time it costs 2. Preston, what do you think? This is a pretty good card.
I like it because it's a finishing card. It's very Zoro to go all out just this one time and attack and then restand and attack. And it's a lovely effect for Zoro. I think I've said that before, is just being able to go all out. If you're ending the game with this, you throw a bunch of Dawn on him and you get 3 huge attacks. Your opponent's not responding to all of them. You might be able to throw a few Dawn on him, attack, bait out some counter, throw a few more Dawn on him, attack, and that by the 3rd time you do that, I can't think of a way to get out of 3 plus like 10k plus attacks at the end of your game. That's wild. It's a pretty darn good secret. I know that we've had some lackluster secrets in the past, and I think I think it could see some play. I don't know where it sees play, just because it's just a weird card for green.
Right.
I know that blue-green got the Zoro Sanji support, but I don't know where it fits in. Maybe I just don't know who plays this card. It's a very good card.
Right.
I just don't know what deck it goes to.
Yeah. Because all the green format stuff has been very, Law's been the best green deck, and Law's probably not going to find room for this. They might, actually, just because it's that good. But it doesn't fit with, their synergy purposes, and that's kind of what we're, I think, beating around. It doesn't synergize very well with the green stuff that's currently meta. But its effect is absolutely devastating. It's probably the best KO card printed so far. There's not too much better than that. And if it hits the board and your opponent doesn't have an answer, you're going to lose. Off that idea alone, I think we might be able to find a spot or two for a couple of these guys in most green decks, I think.
Yeah, it's fair.
Just off that alone. Really excellent secret rare, and I definitely think it's one of the more flashier ones to come through, and hopefully the rest of the secret rares stay that way. Because that's definitely a lot of fun to play. I don't think it's a lot of fun to play against, but if I play it first, I'm gonna win.
Yeah, definitely deserving of the secret rare with a really good effect like that. So that's really nice to see. I love to see really powerful secret rares. It gives them that weight, being a card that's a little bit harder to pull.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what green has going for it, is a really cool secret rare, and Ryuma.
Shout out green.
Yeah.
And that's our color review. That's a wrap on the color review green. It is a lackluster color, I think. I think that is kind of what we feel, but that secret rare might be able to make up for it. I think green has been known for taking, or blue as well, being able to take a couple good cards and just moving forward with it. We'll see what they do with it. There's other 2 green leaders we'll talk about in other colors because that's where they're focused. And in the comments, let us know which decks are you playing that Zoro in. That's definitely the card that we are most excited about. What about other cards in the set? Did we miss one? Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that does it here. Stay tuned soon for blue. We'll probably do that eventually. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Still want the news credit outro.
I think green has had a good set with Dofi, so I think it's okay for it to be mediocre this time.
I just wish they universally had that rule where like it would be 2 good sets and then 1 bad set, because here we are with black again.
Yeah, fair.